welcome to the Dilettante's Bookshelf. My name is Michelle and I want to thank you for joining me in today's video. So in today's video I have a used book haul that I'm sharing with you. I got a whole shopping bag full of books and I thought it would be fun to share with you today. So I am really fortunate that I have an amazing used bookstore really close to my home, and it's large and it's just wonderful to explore. You can always find something amazing there. And so I went this past weekend and had a look around, and I was looking for books to either add to my collection of books that I've read and loved, or books that just looked interesting to me that I might want to read. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start pulling books out randomly and share with you what I've purchased and tell you a little bit about why I picked it. So first up is not a hardcover, but it's by Beverly Lewis, and it is called The Photograph. And years ago I read a series by Beverly Lewis and I really enjoyed it. So when I saw this, I thought it would be a fun read. So this is going to be going on my TBR shelf, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. The next up, they had a vintage book section in the bookstore, and I went there immediately and I started looking around and I saw this book, which is called Ruth Fielding Treasure Hunting. And I've really been loving books that are historical in nature. So they're taking place, I've been reading books that take place in the 1800s, where you have female leads that are detectives or treasure hunters. I'm really enjoying those kinds of stories right now. And this just, one, it looked like such a cool book. And there was a series. It's a series, so there's other books that they had there. So I figured I would get one and just see how I liked it. The next books I grabbed was Summer at Tiffany, and this looked like a really interesting read. It is the story of a once-upon fairy tale come true. Two beautiful college debs from Iowa make it to New York City and end up working at Tiffany's and living the dream of every career girl of the 1940s. So it just sounded like a really interesting story, and I thought, I love the cover and I liked that it was a nice hardback. So, and it looked like a fairly quick read as well, so I'm going to be adding this to my TBR as well. Next up, I picked the Lemony Snicket. I feel like I have the first book, but I haven't read it yet. And I thought this would be a great addition to our homeschool library as well. And I do love reading magical children's books myself. So if nothing else, I thought it would be good. I've never read the series. I'm really excited to read this. And so I picked up the first and the second. They had more, but I thought I would just start off with these two and see how we all like them and go from there. Next up, keeping with the children's books, I picked up book one of The Hardy Boys. I just thought this would be such a fun read, and again, a nice addition to our homeschool bookshelf, and I thought my kids might enjoy it, but really I got it for myself. I also picked up the Sisters Grimm. This looked like a really interesting story. It is Tales from the Hood by Michael Buckley, and it just looked like a really cool book, so I thought I would pick it up. As I said, I love reading children's books as well. I like introducing a lot of kind of magical fairy worlds to my books, so this just looked like another nice addition. Next up, I picked this book. Again, it was in the vintage section, and it is called Lady Jane, and it is by Mrs. C.V. Jameson. And honestly, I picked it up just because I love the title, and the book just looked fabulous. Inside, it says, "To Bernice from Ray," and it's dated March 31st of 1943. Can you see that in there? And I just thought that was really, really cool, and it's a nice old book, so I thought I'd give it a shot, so that's going on the TBR list. Next up is a series of books. They didn't have book one. This is The Secrets of the Blue Hill Library, and this particular one is Cracking the Code. Now, I have not read any of these books. They had a bunch of them, and I was tempted to get all the ones they had just so that I could read them, but instead I just restrained myself and said I'm going to get one, and if I like them I can always go back and get others. But for now, it just looked like a really interesting read. Anne and Wendy are preparing for a new adult literacy class when Ben races inside the library to his mother that their dog Hershey has found a package on the porch. Anne chases Hershey around the yard until she is finally able to retrieve it and discovers an envelope with several $1,000s of cash inside. So it looks like a really fun mystery book. I love a cozy mystery, so this sounds like it might be right up my alley. Next up is a book called Noah's Wife, and I'm not familiar with this book, but it looked really interesting. Just a different perspective, a different point of view on the story, fictionalized of course, but it just sounded like a really interesting read, and so I picked it up. Next up is The Doll People. Now I have another channel here on YouTube if you've seen it. It's called The Dilettante's Dollhouse, where I'm renovating my childhood dollhouse. And when I saw this, I just thought, I have to get this. I know very little about the book, but I feel like I saw recently that it might be a series, so I'm not positive. It has photos and it just looked interesting, so I thought it would be fun for me to check out and read, maybe add it to our homeschool bookshelf if it's something that the kids are interested in as well. Okay, the last two books that I picked up I thought were really, really exciting, and I'm happy to read them. This is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and it's a beautiful hardcover edition. I have never read The Mysteries of Sherlock Holmes. It has a collection of all the stories, so I thought it would be fun to sit down and read one at a time, and I'm just seeing now some gorgeous illustrations. So I'm really excited. I thought this would be a great addition to my bookshelf and something that I can pick up and read a story and then come back to. So this is a really fun addition. And lastly, I'm really excited about this one. It is the complete short stories of Miss Marple. And I was just blown away when I saw this. I have been currently listening to Agatha Christie on Audible, and I'm really enjoying the stories, and so I'm really digging in. I'm doing an Agatha Christie challenge, so and I'll share that in the accompanying blog post so you can learn a little bit more about it if you're interested. But yeah, I am just really stoked to get these. I have not read any of the Miss Marple, and I'm looking forward to digging in, so this seems like a great addition to my collection and something to add to my TBR. All right, well, that is it for my little used book haul today. I hope you did enjoy this. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you have any questions about the books or you want any more details, please don't hesitate to comment below and ask any questions. I'd be happy to try to answer them for you. I will link to my accompanying blog post in the description box, so you can read that if you'd like to read blog posts and find out a little bit more about the books and why I chose them, or a little bit more of a description. I'll also, if I'm able, provide links to the books, so if it's something that you'd like to purchase for yourself, I'll see if I can't share a link for you as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Take care.